This lesson and the previous lesson are absolutely vital to your fluency in French. Hello everyone, welcome to another lesson in our ongoing French course. In our last lesson, we looked at the verb faire. I gave you an introduction to the verb. In this lesson, we are going to take it a step further, and I'm going to show you how widely used this verb is in numerous French expressions. So let's recap from the last time. Remember that faire is an irregular verb, which means you absolutely have to memorize the forms. And those forms are je fais, tu fais, il, elle, on fait, nous faisons, vous faites, ils, elles font. So remember, the verb by itself means to make or to do. So if I want to say I make or I do, I would say je fais, you make or you do, tu fais, etc. So be sure you've memorized these forms. Remember the pronunciation fait, faisons, faites, font. Repeat that many times, and in a short period of time, you will memorize this verb. Fait, faisons, faites, font. Fait, faisons, faites, font. Okay, so once you've memorized the verb, the next step is, well, how is this verb used? Remember last time we looked at this verb being used in general questions to inquire about what you or what someone else is doing, either at the moment or what you habitually do. So what are you doing or what do you do? The question would be, qu'est-ce que vous faites? Or with the inversion, que faites-vous? Now this is an open-ended question, which means the answers can be just about anything. So if you ask me the question, qu'est-ce que vous faites? Que faites-vous? I could answer by saying things like, oh, je regarde la télé, I'm watching TV. Je lis, I read, or I'm reading. Je mange, I eat, or I'm eating. And j'étudie, I study, or I'm studying. So the meaning you get just depends on the intention of the question. If you're asking about routine, qu'est-ce que vous faites? Like, what do you do on Mondays or whatever? You might say, well, you're talking about routine. Well, I watch TV, I read, I eat, I study. If the question is inquiring about what you're doing at the particular moment, and remember that's just context, well, je regarde la télé, je lis, je mange, j'étudie would mean, well, je regarde la télé, I'm watching TV right now. It's implied. Je lis, I'm reading. Je mange, I'm eating. J'étudie, I am studying. So remember, the present tense is very versatile. It can mean routine, or it can mean what's happening at the particular moment. Okay, so this is the primary use of the verb faire, to ask questions about what you or someone else is doing. Here's the next very important use of the verb faire. The verb faire is used in a number of expressions which are referred to as faire idioms or faire expressions. Sometimes they translate literally to English and sometimes they don't. Let's take a look at some examples. To do the cooking. If you want to say to do the cooking in French, it's a faire idiom or a faire expression. So to do the cooking is faire la cuisine, faire la cuisine. So if I want to say I do the cooking or I'm doing the cooking, I would say je fais la cuisine. Notice it's to do in English and to do in French. To do the housework, the expression is faire le ménage, faire le ménage. To do the housework, in other words, the cleaning, the tidying up, the things that you have to do around the house, faire le ménage. To do the dishes, faire la vaisselle, faire la vaisselle. To do the dishes, to go shopping. Now notice here in English it's to go, but in French we use the verb faire to express this idea. So to go shopping is faire du shopping, faire du shopping. So if I want to say I go shopping, don't use the verb go, don't use the verb aller in French, use the verb faire because it's a faire expression. So I go shopping, je fais du shopping, je fais du shopping. Okay, here are more faire idioms. Notice one has the verb to do in English, but the others are different verbs, but they're all going to be faire expressions in French. To do homework is faire les devoirs, faire les devoirs. To make the bed, faire le lit. Faire le lit. To run errands. Faire les courses. Faire les courses. To take a break. Faire une pause. If you're translating this literally to English, to make a pause, it would be. But you should know that when you translate it back to English, the expression in English would be to take a break instead of to make a pause. We don't say make a pause in English, we say to take a break. But if you were to ask me, how do you say to take a break in French? I would say, well, you have to say literally to make a pause or to do a pause, faire une pause. Okay, let's take a look at more faire idioms, to pay attention or to be careful. Faire attention, faire attention. So if I want to say I pay attention, like in class, or I am careful, I would say je fais attention, je fais attention. To party, to celebrate, faire la fête, literally to do the party, faire la fête. To sleep in, this is an interesting one. In French, to sleep in is faire la grasse matinée, literally to do the fat morning session, morning matinée. So if I want to say I sleep in, on Saturdays I sleep in, or Saturday I sleep in, le samedi je fais la grasse matinée. To take a long weekend. This is also an interesting expression, faire le pont, literally to make the bridge. So to take a long weekend, it's like taking a Friday off, which gives you a really long weekend. And especially when the Thursday before the Friday is a holiday. So you have a holiday on Thursday, Friday, instead of going back to work, you take that day off and you have a really nice long weekend, which is literally in French, making the bridge. Faire le pont, faire le pont. Okay, here are a few more expressions. There are so many, but I just want to show you some of the more important ones. To greet with a kiss on the cheek or the cheeks. In French, you probably recognize this. In French, it's called faire la bise, faire la bise. To save money, meaning to spend less, not put money in the bank, that's different. To spend less, to save money. Faire des économies, faire des économies. To earn a living, to make lots of money. Faire son beurre, faire son beurre, literally to make one's butter. Faire son beurre. To go to sleep, this is often used with children. Faire le dodo, faire le dodo. Okay, quiz time. Do you remember what we just learned? Let's try a few examples here. How would you say in French, I do the cooking? I do the cooking. Remember, these are all faire expressions. I do the cooking. Je fais la cuisine. Je fais la cuisine. I do the housework. Je fais le ménage. Je fais le ménage. I do the dishes. Je fais la vaisselle. Je fais la vaisselle. I go shopping. Je fais du shopping. Je fais du shopping. I do homework. Je fais les devoirs. Je fais les devoirs. I sleep in. Je fais la grasse matinée. Okay, well, keep playing that quiz part until you've got them all right, if you didn't get them all right. If you found this helpful, I would appreciate it very much if you'd give it a like or perhaps a hype. What? You're still here? Okay, well, if you're still here, you're really wanting to learn French, so that's fantastic. So I've got a little bonus for you. I'm going to give you a few more expressions. Okay, so here they are. More faire idioms. To stand in line. Faire la queue. To be a huge success. Faire le tabac. To take the plunge, as in make a big life change. Faire le grand saut. Faire le grand saut. To make a scene. Faire du cinéma. Faire du cinéma. To make the headlines. Faire la une. To turn a deaf ear. Faire la sourde oreille. to sneak out. Faire le mur. And finally, to play sports. Faire du sport. Faire du sport. Okay, well, that's really it. If you found this helpful, again, I would appreciate it very much if you'd give it a like, perhaps a hype. To go on to the next lesson, click on the video that appears here on your screen. See you soon. À bientôt.